Right now, your brain is operating like an overflowing receptacle. From the moment you wake up, it is bombarded with digital noise, cheap dopamine, and an endless stream of useless opinions. This constant barrage has a severe side effect. It renders you a confused participant in your own life, trapped in a cycle where your attention is managed by external systems. This constant stream of digital distraction actively buries the structured signal of your underlying reality. To identify that underlying reality, you have to execute a systematic psychological reset. You must manually cut the noise. Elite focus depends on a systematic starvation of the brain's addiction to chaos. The first tactical step is entering the white room. This is a mental state of complete elimination, a blank slate free from emotional spikes and external input. You achieve this through a strict 24-hour dopamine detox. That means zero scrolling on your phone, no sugar, and no music. Warning tone. Your biology will resist. Your brain will aggressively seek entertainment, and you will experience a profound level of boredom. This boredom is an effective tactical advantage. By cutting off outside stimulation, you force your mind to look inward and generate its own ideas. You can initiate this isolation tonight. Turn off the lights, place your phone in another room, and sit in absolute darkness for 10 minutes. During this window, do not actively pursue specific thoughts. Simply observe the silence and let your neurological baseline reset. This total deprivation forces the brain to pivot. When external stimulation is withheld, the mind is compelled to reactivate its internal creative circuitry to fill the void. Once you purge external noise, you must change how you process information to prevent a relapse into distraction. This animation compares two different processing models. On the left is the traditional method of linear rote memorization. On the right is the mental sandbox, where data enters an interconnected three-dimensional simulation network. To execute the simulation, take your raw data, whether it's a business strategy or a historical event, and actively visualize it. Observe the characters, the actions, and the consequences as they play out in your head. The human mind tends to drop dry facts, but it consistently retains lived experiences. Instead of treating work or study as a checklist, convert these sessions into detailed mental movies. Translating raw information into a simulated experience anchors the data within your memory, shifting it from a dry fact into accessible, high-fidelity intelligence. With a noise-free processor, you can deploy this focus into the real world to read environmental signals, much like a tactical investigator. The foundational rule of elite observation is to prioritize physical behavior over the content of what people are saying. You must first establish a baseline of their normal movements. Once that baseline is set, you watch for micro-deviations. You look for tiny anomalies, like a subtle shift in the way a person holds a cup. This timeline graph maps conversational rhythm, highlighting a specific temporal signal, an unnatural 1-second delay before someone answers a question. Cross-referencing that delay, the graphic scans to show spikes in physiological stress markers, like increased breathing rate, aligning perfectly with that hesitation. These behavioral patterns happen constantly. They remain invisible to a distracted, dopamine-addicted brain, but they are obvious once the noise is removed. Maintaining this rigorous purge of mental garbage and utilizing data simulation changes how you interact with your environment. It moves you from being a distracted participant to an observer who can identify and navigate the hidden dynamics of the room.